Today's program is sponsored by The Anthony Vincent Salon. Say hello to beautiful.
You're listening to Trend Radio, where we talk about what's hot and what's not. Get into the loop with us. I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise, and we're your radio gateway to what's trending with beauty, fashion, health, wellness, and sex.
Mostly sex.
Learn and laugh with us anytime, anyplace. Go right to our website, AnthonyVincentSalon.com. Click away and listen today.
You'll be glad you did.
Always.
Oh, and do we have a great show for you today?
Don't we always?
Of course. We have some special guests that are going to be joining us
excited.
a little later on.
I know.
And we're going to talk about kinky sex.
Don't we always?
You know that movie that came out
a little while ago.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah.
What was it called?
With the whole book, 50 Shades of Grey.
Mm-hmm. I thought there was only 1 or 2 shades of gray, but there are 50.
There are 50.
Well, we're not going to talk about the movie, but we're going to talk about the kink.
The kink. Well, I love kink.
Yes. So, before we get started, what do you think?
What? What do I think about what, Anthony? What?
How do you get what you want in the bedroom?
How do I get what I want?
Not you. The vernacular.
The vernacular.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure you're going to tell me how I get what I want. So why don't you do that?
Well, just asking for what you want usually works.
Do you have to say please?
I don't know. It depends how.
Please, sir.
It depends how.
Please, sir. I want some more.
You're not tongue-tied between the sheets now, are you?
Definitely not.
No. Okay. Well.
Do you think I'm ever tongue-tied? Think about this for just a minute.
No. You're never run out of things to say.
What was the heavy breathing there?
I'm a little congested.
You are.
So anyway, according to a study in sexual and relationship therapy, explicity, asking to try, I don't know, a new position, for example.
A new position. Mm-hmm. Okay, so.
Or a new style. Or
a new style. Where do you come up with this stuff?
I read a lot.
Okay.
Well, okay. For example, in this study that I was reading, 85% of the time, says the study author Shauna Harris, she's a PhD.
Okay.
If you're not willing to tell your partner what you want,
you might not get it, right?
You're not going to get it.
I agree with that.
You're going to get exactly what you asked for, nothing.
Well, that's with anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't put it out there, you don't receive it.
Well, I don't know. I don't put it out anymore. I figured nobody wants it.
I guess it depends.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is you have to share with your partner, share your desires, your wants, especially what you want in the bedroom.
Of course, yes.
And then go from there. Well, I can see that. I can understand that. And you know, if you think about it, most of it happens between the eyes and the ears.
Oh,
as
always
opposed
between the
to
ears.
anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, if you're telling your partner, the fantasy and the fun start immediately.
Mm.
It's about discussing beforehand what you want to do and then doing it, following through and enjoying it. And then, here's the best, the climax, discussing it again after.
Oh, you're bringing back the excitement.
Because it'll come up consistently. And you know, you can discuss it having lunch or dinner publicly and watch what happens. Because each of you will have your own reaction to it.
Wow.
You see that? Do I sound tongue-tied?
My mouth is dry.
Do I sound tongue-tied?
So in other words, if let's say if I wanted my lady to climb up on the roof and I was going to run around the house like 3 times and something like that, I probably would have to say, honey, beforehand, before I ask for that specific talent or whatever. I think it would be really fun and good for our relationship if we shake things up a little bit and
you
blah,
climbed
blah,
up
blah,
on the
blah.
roof?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, basically, yeah. You can do that, of course, or you can just say, I have an idea. And she's going to say what? And I know that this is the vernacular.
Of course, always the vernacular.
Okay, so you tell her the idea. Hey, this is what I think we should try. And she might either look at you and say, yeah, I don't think so. Or she might respond with that little smile or, a little wink of the eye. Something like that.
Wow. So it really does pay to take that direct approach.
Is there any other way
I don't think so.
besides being direct?
Well, but you know what? Most men are not direct. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to say it.
It
And
depends
they
on
just
who
kind
you're...
of drop hints.
It depends. Some do. Some don't. Everybody is different.
No, it's a matter of being confident and knowing
Of
what you
course.
want.
Well, yes, that's it. Just being in the know. If you know what you want, you're going to go and try and get it. Some just get it. Some try. Some don't get it no matter what they want. It depends on the guy, though.
Well, I'll tell you, I think if the guy's a good kisser, that like surpasses like looks every time.
If
If
the guy
guy's
is not good looking and the girl doesn't see past that, she's not going to kiss him. So if he's a good kisser, it's not going to matter.
well, sometimes, the
It
person.
depends on. I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
It's okay, Miss Bobbitt.
But we go back to the same thing that we've talked about before, the homely.
Ah, the homely. I love the homely girls.
I know you do. You think
Yes.
that they're what is it?
There's much more.
They're more appreciative?
Much more appreciative. Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, the homely guy, is he more appreciative, or is he? He's not confident because he doesn't have, what he thinks he wants. He doesn't know what he wants because he doesn't have it.
Most guys don't know what they want,
Yeah,
and
a
then
lot
when
of
they
guys
have
don't.
it, they don't realize it. Yeah, guys are dumb.
Some are.
Well, according to another study in the Journal of Evolutionary Psychology,
Oh boy.
yes, the women who consider long-term relationships preferred men who were described as good kissers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, once you're in a relationship and if you kiss well, that's totally a plus.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, you want to be kissed.
Yeah, I used to
You
date a
know-
girl. Every time we kissed, we banged teeth. It was terrible.
That could be, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess she just didn't know how to kiss you.
Well, no, she was rather homely and had really buck teeth, like in his overbite. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why do you have this thing with the homely? That is just, I know, you must be joking. Because,
Well, you see, it's my desire to raise the confidence level.
so you want to go out with every homely girl you see? I've seen some, but I can't with you today. Oh my
the
God.
girls I date are that homely?
You don't date, first of all.
The vernacular of me.
And yeah, I've seen a couple. Okay. For the vernacular, I've seen a couple.
I'm going to tell you about one of the reasons why you can be homely is because
That's a terrible thing.
no, because remember you said it was between the ears?
Yes.
It also has got a lot to do with your mouth. The way you kiss and your saliva offers clues to your current health. At least anyway, this researcher, the guy's name is Robin Dunbar. He's a PhD. He says your spit will taste pleasant to a woman who is a good genetic fit for you.
Oh.
almost like
Pheromones.
pheromones.
Yeah.
Yes, like you
Like,
smell
When you like
subconsciously.
the smell or the scent of somebody, it's because they're a good fit for you.
Yeah.
Enough said about that. And there you have it.
I was just, you're in my head again.
I can't help it. I just go there and I never want to leave.
Alrighty, so there you have it.
Need a salon that's about the whole you? Precision haircuts, flawless makeup, impeccable nails, top-rated professional hair products. Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for a hairstylist who has his finger on the pulse of all the latest trends? Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for a dependable salon with over 35 years in the industry? Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for New York City and internationally trained stylists that will create the perfect look for you? Anthony Vincent Salon. Shine brightly while walking down the aisle. Anthony Vincent Salon. For longer, thicker, beautiful hair extensions, Anthony Vincent Salon. Incredible makeup applications for weddings, proms, or any special occasions. Anthony Vincent Salon. Have dry, brittle summer hair? Get a hot shot. Anthony Vincent Salon. Before you put a ring on it, manicure it. Anthony Vincent Salon. Your image is their specialty. For the 150,000 hairs on your head, there's only one choice. Anthony Vincent Salon. For a more beautiful you, call now 609-448-2212 and follow them on Twitter.
And now for the fun facts on finance
From a feminine point of view, our very own Dina Cobran.
of DC Alexander Wealth Management.
Good morning, Dina.
Good morning, Elise.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
I'm glad. Okay, so I have a very, very, very important subject. I know we talk a lot about budgeting and we talk about retirement. So I kind of wanted to combine that a little if we could, because I know there are some people that have been asking me some questions. They're getting ready. They have no retirement, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
They have no retirement and they can't figure out how to have money for retirement. And so that's where I guess the budgeting would come in, but I don't know.
Well, give me an idea of, give me the actual situation. Like, how old are they? Are they working?
This couple is, they're in their late 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids are a little bit older. Yes, they are both working. They're working hard. They have some bills they're trying to pay off, but they don't have anything for their retirement. How would they go about starting now?
Well, that's, very tricky. I think you have to look at where they are saving or where they're not saving and try to find those assets. And, it might feel frustrating for them because they say, well, we can't even find $100 a month. But there's got to be $100 a month if we really look closely at their lifestyle.
Okay.
Like maybe they're putting priorities in places that they shouldn't have priorities in order to put retirement as a top priority for them. You know what I mean?
It's interesting that you say that, because I actually said that, just learning so much from you. I actually said something about, well, where can you just find a few dollars?
Right.
And I said, and I hated to do this, but take your manicure, for instance.
Right.
And she freaked out and she's like, Elise, she's like, I have to do something for myself. Plus it's part of what I go to work looking like. I have to look a certain way. My nails have to be done. I'm like,
Right.
okay. And she's like, and I can't do them myself. That's why I see you.
Right. And did you
So-
tell her to start bringing lunch and stop buying her
I've-
coffees? And
She does bring her coffee from home, and she
Okay.
does bring her lunch from home already.
okay, well, that's good.
She's careful like that. Plus she's always dieting. So she, she does that stuff.
And what about her husband? We don't know his habits, of course.
We do not. I don't know his habits. I don't know if he's an electrical guy or he likes tech stuff. I don't know what he does.
Yeah, we don't know what kind of car they drive, whether they're leasing or owning.
She owns her car outright.
Okay.
I know that.
So
I
she
don't
doesn't
know
have
about
payments,
him. She
right.
does not have a car payment.
And
I don't know it.
And then kind of looking at lifestyle, like, do they go out a lot? Do they spend money on dinners and movies? The thing is, whenever you're looking for a specific goal, like retirement, you have to budget for that. And people don't realize it. They think it's going to be the other way around, where it just kind of happens. And too many people.
Well, how would it just happen?
Well, first of all, if you work for a company and you have a 401k plan, then you can be forced into saving automatically because then you have a company match. But if you're not in a company 401k plan, let's say you have two self-employed people, you have to create that goal for yourself. You've got to create the money, find the money from somewhere to put it into a type of retirement plan, whether it's an IRA or SEP IRA, a Roth IRA. You have to find that money from somewhere. So you have to take it from someplace else. It's not just going to magically appear, right?
So, all right. So basically with a 401k, if you're in a company and you have a 401k and the money gets taken out weekly or biweekly, whatever. So it gets taken out automatically.
Right.
So then these people that might be self-employed, they can just have something that's
similar,
automatically put into a different account.
Right. They can set it up themselves. Exactly. Like you set up a brokerage account and you set up, let's say if they're self-employed, let's say they have SEP IRA plans because that allows you to put in the maximum more than just a Roth IRA every year. So they could set it up the same way that a company sets it up where they just have $50 deducted from their pay, every other week, however they get paid. Or they can, if they get a few $1,000s extra, they could throw that into an account. I mean, people do it different ways. It's just a matter of making it a priority in your mind and then finding the way to do it. I mean, it's paying yourself first, just like she's paying herself for a manicure. You got to pay yourself for the retirement plan as well.
I told her to pretend she had a car payment.
Right, exactly. That's one way to do it. Or something else. It could be a car payment was good. Essentially, that's good advice.
I figured $50 a week, a $200 car payment, because you see on TV, you see the commercials, $199, 300 and $3,500 down, $199 a month.
Right. Exactly.
I said, do the $199 a month. It seems to be reasonable. It's $50 a week. Find $50 a week. I'm sure that you could figure out where you can find $50 a week.
Right.
And give yourself a car payment.
And did she do that budgeting that we always talk about? Like really looking at everything?
I've been telling her to budget. I've been telling her to call you. I've been telling her to look at I printed out the sheets. I have them. She has a budget for them. I don't know if she did it.
Well, you can't lead the horse to water, and make them drink at the same time. We know that.
Dina, why don't you give your website for people?
Okay, check me out at dc-alexander.com. And there's lots of videos on there that you could play with and calculators that you could really work your own numbers if you want.
Definitely check her out. You'll be glad you did.
Thank you.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Next Financial Group Incorporated, member FINRA/SIPC. DC Alexander Wealth Management is not an affiliate of Next Financial Group Incorporated, 2346 Route 33, Suite 307, Robbinsville, New Jersey, 08691, phone number 609-945-7330.
I'm Anthony Vincent of Anthony Vincent Salon. Time for another fun and fabulous beauty tip with our tip chick. And here she is.
Got limp locks? Wake that dead, lifeless hair. Use the right bodybuilding products. Texturize, and what a surprise. Say hello to beautiful.
Want your beauty question answered on the air? Email us now from anthonyvincentsalon.com. Remember, for the 150,000 hairs on your head, there's only one choice. Call us now at 609-448-2212. You'll be glad you did. In relationships, budgeting and lust just don't mix.
Nope.
Money-related stress dampens sexual desire in women.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but not in men.
No. I don't think anything dampens sexual desire in men.
You are absolutely correct.
I know.
We're just horny little bastages. There's a new study in the Journal of Sex and Marital Therapy. Women, and this is really true, women often keep track of the money in the relationships. And that can cause worry.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, not the best aphrodisiac.
Definitely not.
Plan your finances together.
Absolutely. And we have the perfect person to call.
To talk to you with. That's DC Alexander.
Absolutely. Our very own Dina Cobran.
Give her a call today.
You'll be glad you did.
Need a salon that's about the whole you? Precision haircuts, flawless makeup, impeccable nails, top-rated professional hair products. Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for a hairstylist who has his finger on the pulse of all the latest trends? Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for a dependable salon with over 35 years in the industry? Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for New York City and internationally trained stylists that will create the perfect look for you? Anthony Vincent Salon. Shine brightly while walking down the aisle. Anthony Vincent Salon. For longer, thicker, beautiful hair extensions, Anthony Vincent Salon. Incredible makeup applications for weddings, proms, or any special occasions. Anthony Vincent Salon. Have dry, brittle summer hair? Get a hot shot. Anthony Vincent Salon. Before you put a ring on it, manicure it. Anthony Vincent Salon. Your image is their specialty. For the 150,000 hairs on your head, there's only one choice. Anthony Vincent Salon. For a more beautiful you, call now 609-448-2212 and follow them on Twitter.
Elise, I just got notice.
You got notice.
I did. Our special. I'm the boy.
I know. I forget.
I just got notice. Our special guests are here.
Fabulous.
And how exciting is this?
I'm so
today?
excited. I can't wait.
Why don't you
I'm going to tell you.
tell me? I'm
You know,
waiting. I'm
you know,
waiting.
you know exactly who they are,
I
right?
know who they are. But
Okay.
The audience
Dr.
doesn't.
Deborah Keegan.
I love Dr. Deb.
She's coming back. Of course, we knew she would because she's so fabulous.
Yes, she is.
And she's bringing with her Dr. Serena Chen, and both ladies are from the Institute for Reproductive Medicine and Science at St. Barnabas.
Wow, Dr. Serena.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
I love Dr. Deb. I love them both.
Stu, want to send them in? We get them in. Girls, come on in. Come on in.
I don't know if they can pull that door open. They're so tiny.
Hello, ladies. Great to see you.
I'm so glad to see you. Hi. Been too long. Okay.
Yes, how are you? Wonderful to see you again.
You as well.
Come on in. Come on in.
her?
I love.
How does she always look so great?
She just. Oh, how
She just
cute
does.
are you? How you doing?
Isn't she? You guys have meeting Serena for the first time.
For the first time.
I
It's
know.
A pleasure.
She's so
it's
cute.
A pleasure. So, ladies, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves? This is the second time you're on, but the first time you are.
Would you like to go first?
Sure. I'll go first.
Just give us a little summary of who you are and
Okay,
what you
thank
do
you.
and that kind of thing.
So my name is Dr. Serena Chen, but you can call me Dr. Serena if you like. I am the Director of Reproductive Medicine at IRMS, which stands for the Institute for Reproductive Medicine and Science at St. Barnabas.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we've got offices all over New Jersey, including
East Windsor.
Which is where we are.
We love
yes,
East Windsor.
which is cool.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
right. Well, did you know my office is across the street from one of Anthony's offices, one of the salons.
Very cool. Very cool.
Small world.
And we're also at the Shore. We just opened up at Long Branch at Monmouth Medical Center. We're up at Jersey City. Main office is Livingston. We've got Clark. We've got Hoboken and Westfield. So did I cover everything?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay.
So what is it that you actually do then?
Well, we like to make,
Babies.
yes, test tube babies. Babies in test tubes.
I like to
Babies
do
are
that too. I
beautiful.
have 6 children of my own.
They're all illegitimate.
Yes, with 5 different women. I absolutely love it. Now, how did you guys meet?
Oh, well. So I'm Dr. Deborah Keegan. I have been here before with you
Yes, you
guys
have.
about a year ago. Lots to tell since then.
I know, and I have a question for you as soon as you're done.
as soon as I'm done. And, and we
pushy, isn't she?
met because, let's see, I was in Florida for 3 years after my fellowship. So to do what we do, you do a 4-year residency in obstetrics and gynecology, and then you do a 3-year fellowship in reproductive endocrinology and infertility, and you get subspecialized. I left Florida to come home. My roots are in New York, and we found each other through, I guess, some of your partners, right? Who knew the people
Well,
I
we
trained
just
with in
heard
New York.
rumors that the famous Deb Keegan was coming up from Florida, and everybody was like, you have to meet Dr. Deborah Keegan. She's amazing. And we just couldn't turn her down.
So she
So we hired
me.
her before we interviewed you.
They hired me before they actually
Just
ever
because-
laid eyes on me.
Just on reputation.
That is true.
Based
Over
purely on
30 years.
reputation.
How flawless is that?
And connection, you know, that connection is such a big deal because people that we loved love her so much. And so we felt the love even before she came, and, you know, the
I
rest
get
is
that.
history.
The moment we met,
It was
Yeah.
like a love fest.
It's good.
Remember?
It's a good
Yes.
thing.
In
Yeah.
the salon. Yeah. We were just like,
Yeah.
boom.
And you're not even a lesbian anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. No, I was for a short period of time, but yeah, not anymore. Anyway, since our last time with Deborah, with Dr. Deb, you were on your way to the Philippines.
Yes, indeed.
Tell us about the Philippines.
I don't even know where to start. So good memory.
Of
Elise.
course.
Oh, she doesn't forget it.
So I left on Valentine's Day of 2014 last year for that 10-day mission to the Philippines. And I remember telling you that I became part of a global foundation called Life is Great Global Foundation.
Right.
And we provide medical care to areas in need around the world. So this particular trip was to the Philippines. It changed my life. You ever seen MASH? You've seen MASH,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I walked into the first operating room that we were going to be in, and there were 3 beds. And we operated together in the same room, different surgeries going on.
Wow.
The anesthesiologists were managing, multiple cases at a time, and there was no general anesthesia, so the patients weren't even sound asleep. With general anesthesia, they had spinal anesthesia, and so
they
we
were
had-
not in pain.
So they were not in pain.
But they were awake.
It was twilight.
Twilight.
So they were
I was going to
awake.
say Twilight.
Drowsy.
But for us, that was, basically what that means for the surgeon is you've got 2 hours to get this done. And it was a challenge, to the sort of the lack of resources compared to what we have in this country. The graciousness of the people in that country, and anywhere that I think missionaries go to help provide care was something that I could not have imagined till I arrived and did what we did.
To be able to give
Yeah.
something like that from you to them, that's incredible.
It
To give yourself like that.
It's true because we all start out. I would say, we start out in medicine for a reason, and that
Yeah,
reason is to
I think that's true.
to change people's lives and make it better. Whether it's through healing, education, whatever it is that we do. And it was so intense for me that I was compelled to stay involved, and they asked me to be on the board. So I got on board at Life is Great as the director of development, and so I'm helping in fundraising. And maybe I'll come on with some of the some people.
You okay
from,
there?
I'm good.
He's so verklempt. So maybe we'll focus on that another time. But anyway, my partner, Dr. Serena, is coming on our next mission.
So excited.
Oh, you should be.
He's going
So
to
I
be
finally
domestic.
launched my children, so now I'm an empty nester and now I get to go wherever I want. So
So we're going to a Native American reservation in Montana.
yeah, we're very excited in July. Yeah.
Oh,
gonna-
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
we can't wait. We're going to have you back afterwards to find out about that mission.
and I'm bringing my 11-year-old.
Are you?
Yeah, because there are some non-medical things to be done, in this area. Very depressed. Indian reservations, as you know, are very depressed places, economically and socially. So we are going to be fixing up some schools and doing some building and cleaning up. And I'm
Running a
bringing-
kids
I'm-
camp.
Yeah,
and
How long will you be there?
a week.
Just a week.
Oh my gosh.
But there's a lot of work that's done ahead of time to set up so that we're
of course.
really effective when we get there.
Your child is going to have the most incredible experience,
Yeah.
and what you'll be able to see. Oh my God.
It's going to be phenomenal.
Through those eyes? Through those 11-year-old eyes?
He'll remember that for a lifetime.
I think so. And I hope that, the other two will follow suit and eventually they'll come. We have a policy about how old you have to be. And certainly at 11, we wouldn't be taking him on an international mission. So a domestic mission, and this will be our first. I think it's going to be great. So we're looking forward to it.
Oh, you should be.
Yeah. And it's a nice thing. It's a nice, I think, addition to what we do, having... We're populating the earth, right? We're populating the earth. So now, if we have the ability to help people who are here too, it's completely different from what we do on a daily basis, which you will also find quite interesting.
Well, I think that totally fits in because we're such women's healthcare advocates. We're just general healthcare advocates because honestly, even though we're gynecologists, we take care of a lot of men because a lot of our patients, not all of them, but a lot of them come as a couple, as a male and female. We, of course, have female-female couples and male-male couples and people who come just by themselves to have a baby, but most of our patients are couples trying to have a baby, and so we have to take care of the guys too. And we try through a lot of our outreach and public speaking and social media and stuff to also get the guys to be healthy too. They're a little bit harder than the women.
And they're
definitely.
also a little bit more emotional sometimes. And they feel, I mean, I've heard a lot about this speaking with some of my clients that are actually going through this, that they feel inadequate. And
that's a really tough one. That's a really tough one. And then you get into that whole blame game. Is it the egg or is it the sperm?
Right.
And I try to tell people, we need both, and you guys got to be in this together. And we try to make them comfortable, but it's not always so easy. But that's a good reason why I have baseball pictures on my wall in addition to the diplomas.
I have a book, on the other hand, on my desk, and it's called What Makes a Baby?
Yeah.
And the author, Corey Silverberg, we went to a function last year called Men Having Babies.
And we met the author.
And the author, he was great. I brought my 7-year-old daughter at the time to this event, and she was fascinated by how 2 men can have a baby. And the book focuses on what you need to have a baby, right? It's very clean. And it's a cartoon book, and it talks about a uterus, and it talks about the sperm and the egg. And the sperm and the egg do a dance, and then they needs to retire, for 9 months. And it goes through it. Her eyes were wide open. So Dr. Serena was there. We were introducing my 7-year-old daughter to what we do. And the funniest part is, a week later, driving in the minivan, in Cranberry, New Jersey, she's in the back seat with my toddler daughter, and in the back row, 3 boys, my son and 2 of his friends, who go to Catholic school. And she starts telling them how men can have babies. 2 dads can have a baby. And they said, oh, no, they can't. There's just no way that, that can happen because this is what you need. And she says, Mom, can you tell them that, how it's possible that 2 daddies can have a baby? And I go, give me a second. Without the text, I text their mothers and I say, we're about to have a conversation in my minivan, just so you know, this is what's going down. And you know what? The 2 moms said, better you than us. Better you telling them than us. So, it goes a long way.
But that's, that book is a great example of how that's basically tells you exactly what we do every day. We put together the egg and the sperm and the uterus, and sometimes they come from 3 different people, sometimes not. And sometimes the parents are separate from the eggs and the sperm and uterus, and sometimes they're not. But that kind of captures everything very simply. That's what we do. We put those things together and hopefully create
families. That's
exactly.
what we talk about.
Exactly.
So that's how you would help a single guy. You get other people involved.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, no matter what, there needs to be the egg and the sperm, no matter what.
Yes.
I haven't read that book yet. Thank you very much.
And the uterus. We still
and
need
the uterus. And the guys don't have that.
Yeah.
So they need to borrow.
They need to use
a uterus.
Yes, they need another.
They need the help of some wonderful women who are out there who help with all those kinds of things. And we have so many out there.
Because in spite of how great you think you are, you can't have a baby by yourself.
He might
by
be
yourself.
able to. Of all
by yourself.
We would give you plenty of things to do. We would want you to eat healthy. We would want you to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. We'd want you to exercise.
He does all of these things.
We'd want you to work on stress management. We'd want you to be happy. We'd want you to laugh and smile. All of those things.
I guess
I've seen you do a bunch of those things
That's why I have
already.
those 6 illegitimate children.
Have you met them yet?
I have. Yes.
They come into the salon for haircuts.
They do.
Yeah.
I love it. But getting back, and I think this part is very important, and I don't want to gloss over it, when you said that some of your clients feel inadequate. I think what we do a lot of reminding them, and we actually have a licensed psychologist on staff. It's very important to
Absolutely.
to approach this issue from many different angles. for me, what I see is that at the end of the day, it's a family. You're creating a family. You know, I mean, a couple that wants to have a baby, whether it's two men or two women or a man and a woman, and it is astounding how many permutations there are, you know, to go about helping create that family.
But sometimes it can be pretty low tech. I mean, we're talking about some really high tech stuff, but sometimes there's very simple things you can do. And
turkey basters is what she's talking about.
Yes.
yeah.
I just had to say.
But well, one thing I think is important, because we're here on radio because we want to talk to people, we want to communicate with people. And Deb and I feel like one of the hardest parts of our jobs is just to make that connection, because there are apparently well over 6 million people that are trying to have a baby and not able to on their own in the United States right now. And apparently at least 50% of them are sitting at home and not getting the help that they need, not even talking to a doctor, not even getting advice, because they're afraid of what it might involve. They're intimidated. They're afraid that it's going to be dangerous or scary or cause cancer. And so Deb and I really want to show people that, you know, we're nice people and we're not going to bite anybody, and we're just here to help. And the first step is just getting advice. Just talk to somebody.
Right.
That's going to make a huge difference.
And on that note, if you're just joining us now, we're speaking with Dr. Deborah Keegan and Dr. Serena Chen of the Institute for Productive Medicine and Science at St. Barnabas. And why don't one of you just give your website so people can reach out to you?
www.s as in Saint, B as in Barnabas, IVF as in vitro fertilization.com.
That's perfect. And this way people can reach out. They can hear how down to earth both of you actually are.
Yeah, these girls are really nice.
Yeah.
You know,
and-
people can even just anonymously message us on Facebook or on the website. We try to make ourselves, I mean, that's part of why we're here today. We try to make ourselves as accessible as possible because we feel like the message is so important, that the technology today is so successful and works for so many people, but it's not going to work if you don't come in and talk to somebody.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to actually go for it.
It's empowerment,
Yeah.
right?
You know,
Absolutely.
take control of your life, right?
So many people don't have that.
And so many people don't do that. And especially when they're so down, because this is something that's so important.
You're right. And people don't realize that Dr. Deb just mentioned about our reproductive psychologist. She's full-time. She's a PhD. She's an incredible resource. And we have her because a lot of people don't realize this, but the stress that trying to have a baby and not being successful at it puts on you is the same level of stress as a cancer patient experiences. But you know, when you have cancer, people bring you casseroles and they run marathons for you. But when you have infertility, people don't really do that for you. You don't get that kind of sympathy and empathy and support. So it's definitely still got this stigma about it that puts an extra pressure on people.
That's so interesting that you should say that, because a lot of people don't realize that there is a disease involved or an illness involved or anything like that. They don't realize, oh, she can't have a baby, but, she will. They don't realize. And with cancer, oh, the poor thing, she's going through chemo.
Right.
They don't realize that it has a lot of similarities and that the stress can be just as devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
I have heard often people trying to have babies. They can't. They go through in vitro. Sometimes it's not successful. And they give up, and then they get pregnant.
Yeah.
That's the stress level, is it not?
I think we cannot discount the role that stress can play, not just on your mind, but also on your body. But I don't want to get into this blame game where people sometimes get trapped, where they say, you just relax. It'll happen. Because that then is kind of saying to the patient, it's your fault that you're not getting pregnant. And we don't want to do that, because it really isn't. It really is a real problem. We can't always put a name on it.
Right.
But we can help you. Like I tell my patients all the time, I don't know why you're not pregnant yet, and I may never have the answer to that, but we're going to get to the baby part. We may not get to the answer part, but we'll get to the baby part. So I definitely want people to manage their stress and to realize how important it is, but I don't want them to, blame themselves.
I try to coach my patients to, it's about control, right? This is one of the most difficult things to understand. A cancer diagnosis is very concrete, and you know what you have to do. And typically, maybe there are 1 or 2, chemotherapeutic regimens that a patient will be offered. With infertility, it can be a huge black box, and you don't know, and we don't know, and they don't know. So when I talk to patients about managing their stress and managing their lives during this thing, I have them focus on things they can control. What's your exercise, routine like? Can you add something to that will help improve your general health and will also help you, emotionally? What's your your diet like? You can control that. Exercise, diet, you can control. Go through all your credit cards and figure out where can you get more money back, for things that you're buying. Find things that you actually can control.
Like
and put a lot
quitting
of stress.
Smoking. That's another thing.
Yes.
That's a really big one.
That's huge.
But we do, but wine, can't be a hypocriticism.
So
I know that's not a real word.
Good.
Okay, so the story with alcohol, a very large study recently done that says more than 3 servings of alcohol a week for either the male or female is actually associated with higher rates of infertility. For women, more than 3 servings a week is associated with higher rates of breast cancer. So that 3 servings a week is important. And when I say servings, I don't mean 3/5 of whiskey, 3 bottles of whiskey. I mean, a serving is like 1 shot of whiskey, 1.5 ounces of hard alcohol, or 12 ounces of beer, or 5 ounces of wine. So,
a serving size.
A serving size, exactly. A lot of people don't understand the serving size. It's like, how many times do I put on a bender a week? But I have had that question, believe me. So I think everything in moderation. But for women, actually, because we don't know that there's a safe level of alcohol, once you're in fertility treatment and we know when you're ovulating, post-ovulation, we actually say that right before the 2 weeks, right before you get your period, where you could be pregnant, but you don't know yet, we say 0 alcohol for that period of time.
And we say that, but the reality is all of those patients out there, and then patients say, but my sister got pregnant when she was on vacation in the Bahamas, and she was wasted for the whole week that she was there, and then came home and, found she was pregnant. Here's the thing. We know that there are negative effects associated with alcohol, right? But of course, my mother always says, I drank, I smoke, I ate tuna fish, and you're a doctor. I said, well, I could have been the president.
She could have been a rocket scientist.
I don't know. Sorry, Mom. Gave you up. But we do. We definitely have, patients refrain from things that we know have negative side effects.
But we're not trying to make people feel guilty, okay? So if you've done that in the past, it's not beat yourself up time. It's just time to say, maybe I'm struggling a little bit. Maybe I should get some advice. Here's some practical advice that I can take right now from Elise and Anthony's show, and that's really awesome. And maybe the next thing is I pick up the phone and I try to actually talk to an expert and see what are the options that I have. And maybe they're for me and maybe they're not. But, I think a big part of what Deb and I do is we can't control all the outcomes. We can't control the future, but I think we can get all our patients to the point of no regrets. Like, you're not going to be here 5 years from now and say, I should have gone to see the doctor because maybe something could have happened. Maybe something would have been different. So we really want you to be at that place where you become totally informed and then you say yes or you say no. Honestly, it doesn't matter. You have to pick what's right for you, but then you made that decision. You didn't just let time go by and let infertility just happen to you.
You made it with information that you were lacking that made you feel so helpless.
Yeah, and that's
powerless.
what, we get a lot of flack from reporters all the time because Deb and I talk a lot about fertility preservation for social reasons. This whole new thing where Facebook and Apple are paying for their young female employees to freeze their eggs. And people are saying, Deb and I are telling women to freeze their eggs. We're really not telling people to freeze their eggs.
No.
We're telling people to think about their futures and make a decision for themselves, empower themselves.
the information.
What is the average age of a woman that you're treating for fertility? Are they younger? Are they older? And freezing the eggs, I would think they're building their
younger.
career. Yeah,
Yes.
they should be younger.
Yeah.
And worried about their career. So.
Yeah, I mean, first you have to define younger and older, right? I mean, we do know that the age of first child, right, or the birth of your first child has increased over the last, 50 years for sure. Most of our patients are in their 30s. I would say mid to late 30s.
If you want to pick one number, average age is around 39.
Yeah.
I was thinking 38.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's what I was
Okay,
thinking.
yeah.
And that's not an accident, actually. If you look at the number of years it takes for women to finish school, maybe they go to graduate school and then excel at whatever their
Absolutely.
profession is.
And get their life
And
started.
it also crisscrosses with the extreme decline in female infertility, which begins, it's sort of a very gradual slope, down from
Starting around 27.
right in terms of your success of in reproduction, having a baby. It's gradual, and around 35, it really starts to fall steeply.
And we have quite a few clients who are in their 40s with, very small children.
young children and
Yes.
pregnant. Mhm.
Yes. And it doesn't mean, it's hard because when we talk about these probabilities, we're not saying that just because you're over 35 means you're going to have infertility. It just means your risk for potentially having issues is higher. So I think that's another thing out there that people worry about or talk about is that we're telling women as they get older, scaring them into thinking, oh, they're losing their fertility and they have to get a move on. You shouldn't have a baby unless you're really ready to have a baby. But we want you to be aware that you have to think about these things. Yes, everybody's fertility declines as they get older. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have problems, but it's something to think about and be proactive about. And there are things you can do.
Especially if you would like to have a family.
Yes.
If you want to go that route.
Yeah.
We were talking before a little bit about cancer.
Yeah.
And what do you do? How do you take that approach? I mean, freezing your eggs for cancer patients. We were talking a little bit about that. How do you do that?
Well, the big thing now, the reason why we think it's so important now is because there's this brand new technique called vitrification.
Vitrification.
Yes, beginning with a V. And it's this very high-tech, cool thing where we drop the temperatures, I think this is appropriate for today, drop the temperature of the egg super, super rapidly from, body temperature, which is around, what are we at? 37 degrees centigrade down to negative 196 degrees
That just
centigrade.
sounds so cold.
How quickly is that?
Within milliseconds. So
gosh.
it's so fast, you can't form ice crystals. And ice crystals are what used to harm the eggs when we froze them in the old days. The ice crystals, you can see them, they're very sharp. In the delicate egg, they could disrupt the structures. So this technology has completely revolutionized egg freezing.
She's
my
like the
gosh.
science techno one, see, because it's funny. You asked that question, I was going to come at it in a completely different way. So
Go
now
for
I
it.
will. So the way we get to these patients, when we eventually perhaps they vitrify their eggs, is that they get a cancer diagnosis. A lot of times, the patients that we're dealing with, it's breast cancer, it could be leukemia, lymphoma. But the wonderful news is that treatment in oncology has really changed the way people look at the cancer diagnosis, and that it's no longer a death sentence. For a lot of these cancers, they're going to get treated and they're going to beat it. They will be cured. And a lot of these cancers happen in women who have childbearing age. So as our technology got better, we got better at freezing eggs. On the clinical side of things, the reproductive endocrinologist, the oncologist said, well, wait a second, these women are going to be alive to have their families. These 16-year-olds with Hodgkin's, they may be alive to have babies, where in the past that wasn't the case. But the chemotherapy is gonadotoxic. The gonads, of course, ovaries and testicles.
Sure.
chemotherapy is highly gonadotoxic, and that would render a lot of patients infertile. So what we do when they come to us is that we will take them through the egg freezing process, where we stimulate their ovaries to make a lot of eggs in one cycle, not just one, and then we harvest them surgically. We remove them from the ovaries by a very 10-minute procedure. It's invasive, but barely. It's just a needle-guided aspiration, transvaginal aspiration of the oocytes. Basically what that means is the patient goes to sleep. We use a transvaginal ultrasound probe with a needle guide attached. It goes through the vagina right into the ovary. And we're looking at this on an ultrasound machine. And we aspirate the fluid out, and then the microscopic eggs come with it. Come with this fluid that surrounds the eggs. We give that to the embryologist. The embryologist looks at the eggs and counts them, and then we freeze them. Patients can come back at any time, 10 years, 5 years, 20 years. I mean, the shelf life on a vitrified egg is indefinite.
Yeah. Forever.
How amazing is this?
You were explaining that extremely well. In my brain, I was seeing
visualizing this entire thing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I know we visualized the same thing because we were in each other's head.
Yeah, we did.
I know that.
It's like, I kind of want to have this done.
Oh, do you? You should.
Anthony, we're working on that, but we haven't got that perfected yet.
Okay.
But what we need you guys to do is to help us get the word out, because the tough thing about this, even though having a family for cancer survivors is one of the most important quality of life issues post-cancer, the issue is that well over 50% of cancer patients are not even getting counseling about fertility preservation. That's a really, really tough thing. And so that's why we're here, because we feel like, you guys have the ability to communicate.
And I'm going to express this everywhere. I'm going to just say, this is amazing.
Yeah.
We are so excited because look what you guys can do.
Yeah, and I think it's not just us. The American Society for Clinical Oncology, it's called ASCO. There is a recommendation from them that states any woman or man of reproductive age. Now, it's a little bit different for guys because, as you know, they can reproduce, sort of throughout
all the
life.
time, yeah.
Should be referred for reproductive, counseling for fertility preservation. Just counseling. It doesn't work for everybody.
Yes.
But again, it's what Serena comes back to: the information and the education in someone who is, feels as vulnerable as our patients do, who have cancer, who have infertility, can be so helpful and so empowering. And then they take that information and they make a decision that works for them.
Well, when your doctor says, let's talk about freezing your eggs because you might want to have kids after we cure your cancer, they're basically telling you, we think you're going to survive. We think we need to talk about this because you're going to survive your cancer. It's a very positive, empowering conversation to have, even for the patients who ultimately decide, this is not for me. Even our patients that say, I don't think I'm going to freeze, they all still say thank you. We really, really appreciate the information.
Would an oncologist even think about recommending that? Or would it be an oncologist that you would have to know, you'd have to have worked with in the
that's
past,
what we're working on. It's tough because the fields are so highly technical and have never really worked together before. So we're really breaking new ground here.
What a great question.
That's
we're trying
question.
now. We are in the middle of that education of getting out there. There is a whole subspecialty in our subspecialty, if you will, called oncofertility.
Yeah.
And so we are trying to get the message out there to oncology groups to say, don't forget, do what now ASCO is recommending, and, give your patients that. It's like Serena said, it gives them hope.
Exactly.
You are going to survive. Yeah. So now you're 17, but when you're 28, and this is important, the egg freezing is so that you have that opportunity to have a baby with your own eggs. We could always use donor eggs.
Yes.
A patient that does not have the ability to produce eggs on her own, whether it's premature menopause or chemotherapy-induced menopause.
Or she had her ovaries removed for whatever reason.
Can use eggs from a donor. And that's just, again, like I said before, there's so many permutations, so many things
But
you can
I
do to
think you
help.
guys are just as important as the oncologist, honestly. The oncologists are super specialized, and yes, they should be talking, that's what ASCO says. They should be talking with all their patients about fertility preservation. But I think you guys are just as important, just the fact that you know and that you're going to tell people. We want primary care doctors to know. We want the man and the woman on the street to know, like, hey, this is something that people should be thinking about. So
Everybody needs to know.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
don't want there to be any stigma. It's not something special. It's just something to think about for every cancer patient.
So everybody listening, cancer or not, just any issues, any trouble, anything at all, just look at that website. Dr. Deb, Dr. Serena, why don't you give that website again? Look at that website.
It's www.sbivf.com.
See, that's amazing. And you can find both of these beautiful, beautiful, very intelligent doctors, Dr. Deb and Dr. Serena, at the Institute for Reproductive and Medical Science, Medicine, and at the Institute.
You do it?
You do it. You can do this one.
Thank you. The Institute for Reproductive Medicine and Science at St. Barnabas.
Yes, St. Barnabas.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you there.
Whenever I could be there.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having
It was
us.
great having you here.
And we're going to have them again because we want
We
to know
feel like
what's
we have
going to
more
happen.
stuff to talk about.
Well, you have so much more stuff to talk
Yes.
about.
This time went by like
I know.
that.
But regardless, we want to know what's going to happen in Montana.
We'll be back.
We will be.
That's important.
Are you going to be like building hospitals and schools and tents? Or
There's some building.
There's some
There's some
building.
building.
We'll be doing a lot of gynecology, so some clinical stuff. But yes, we want to get our hands dirty and build and paint and stuff like that too.
Yeah, because I love doing stuff like that.
Of course you do.
Maybe you
Yeah.
can come on
It's
one of our
what
trips
you
sometime.
do.
That's what I was thinking. It
Yeah.
sounds very, very exciting.
I will get the CEO and the COO and the CMO of Life is Great Global Foundation in here, and you could do a show with all of
That
us.
would be great.
They would love it.
We would love to do that.
Yeah, we would. 'Cause construction and gynecology are my two favorite subjects.
And on that note,
And on that note,
Oh, I was only kidding.
I know, of course.
You've been listening to Trend Radio, where we talk about what's hot and what's not every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Learn and laugh with us anytime, any place. Go right to our website, AnthonyVincentSalon.com. Click away and listen today.
and if you have a topic of interest that you want us to talk about or you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us now at trendradio920@gmail.com. You'll be glad you did.
I'm Anthony Vincent,
And I'm Elise.
and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye for now.